Hi everybody, this is Lee from Fresh Astrology. So I wanted to get a video out on the new moon. I am tired. I usually don't do these late at night, but I wanted to get this out in time for the new moon, so I'm a little sleepy. But so I've been staring at the chart and trying to make sense of it. And I think there's sort of a global group meaning to this that impacts all of us on the planet in a certain way. So we're having a group experience with this new moon. But, of course, we're having our personal experiences too. So I'll try to address both. So I don't know if I introduced myself. That's how tired I am. But this is Lee from Fresh Astrology. I may have said that twice. So we've got a lot of air energy here. Because of the time of year, we're calling this a Gemini new moon because of the date. But it's a long story why, but it's actually 4 degrees Gemini, which is where the new moon's going to hit exact, is really, if you look behind it, out further in the constellations, it's really hitting still in the Taurus constellation, on the kind of the face of the bull. And if you don't know this already, each degree on the wheel of the zodiac and out in the sky has a certain assigned meaning in some camps. And so 4 degrees Gemini is not known to be the happiest degree, but that's, in traditional astrology. And those of you who've watched me for a while know that what I think of traditional astrology is that it's a great basis, it's a great foundation to build on, but we have to think for ourselves. As astrologers and as people who listen to and read astrology, we have to think for ourselves. We have to understand that the traditional viewpoint is entrenched in, that person, whoever was writing about the astrology and giving an opinion, lived in a certain town, in a certain country, 1,000 years ago, 2,000 years ago, or even 300 years ago, and in a very different day and age. And the way things appeared, circumstances, and the way people interpret them has just changed dramatically. We have such a very, very different kind of society, and the world has become a smaller and smaller place. Back then it was huge and unknown, and it was flat. You could drop off the edge of it if you went too far, so it was just a very, very different time. And so we have to take that into account when we look at the traditional meanings behind things. So anyway, I try to look, I'm aware of the 4 degree placement, but I'm going to tell you more about what I see here overall as a pattern. I think we're looking at a lot of air sign energy intermingled with some of the other groups of signs. We've got some fire energy, we've got earth, not as much water, but we have a lot of air going on. So air has a lot to do with the mind, our thoughts, learning, but it definitely has to do with thinking and language. So I think as a group experience, what we've already seen as a lead up to the new moon is the unfolding of global events. And there's a lot going on out there, but we can pinpoint what's unfolded in the UK with the tragic events there, to see how the whole, maybe not the whole planet, but so many people are putting their attention on that, reading about it, hearing news stories, watching news stories about that. And we're all participants. And as a group, because of technology, we're all together as a community watching this and having our different personal reactions and experiences to that. So that's a part of this new moon, the thinking, the media, the language to report to publish the news. News is associated with the air signs. So we have a lot of media and news and stories, storytelling, and events. And personally, slightly removed from that, we're having our own experiences and impressions and thoughts about those events. So there's that piece of the new moon. And then, further removed from that and back into everybody's individual lives, we have, maybe some personal experiences that are impacted by the new moon, but they're going to have similar themes. There's going to be a theme of partnership, because remember, before we had the global experience feeling, we're all in this together, we're not alone experiencing this, which is comforting in many ways, especially for the people going through it who are most deeply impacted. It may be a comfort, a small comfort, to know, or maybe more than small comfort, to know that we're all here together. Nobody's alone or separate. But in your personal lives, there's the same idea that, separate from events in the UK, for example, we have our own stuff going on. And so it's a time when we can partner with people and build alliances and do things together. There's a feeling that you don't have to do everything by yourself. And if you're one of those people out there, sometimes I'm like this. I feel like I have to do it all myself. And I think a lot of my viewers are a lot like me. They have the same sense of independence. So if you're very independent, you might think you have to do it all yourself, but there comes a time when you might realize maybe you can't do it all yourself, or you don't want to. And so then what? So there's this idea that you don't have to do everything by yourself. And it'll show up, based on your personal lives, maybe at work. You can collaborate with somebody at work. You can collaborate with somebody at home to clean the house or do something at home to take care of some kind of family issue. You can collaborate artistically. You can collaborate as a parent. You can collaborate in love, on and on. It just depends on where it's hitting your chart. But there's that sense of togetherness, and you don't have to do it alone. It's also, there are choices around how you use your energy. We have some Mars energy here, so there's a lot of potential energy to unleash. Mars energy can go any way you want to direct it. It can go in a good direction. You can galvanize people. You can galvanize your own energy to do something really amazing and positive and productive and helpful. There's also this sort of fuse on a bomb kind of feeling to it, and I don't mean that in any way literally. I mean, it's just kind of there is this sense of unpredictability about it. If people are angry or feeling like they want to take revenge, if they don't, take time to count to 10 and calm down, if there's a mob mentality, there's this, there are many ways that Mars energy can get off kilter, and it's linking to Jupiter, and in these circumstances, the tipping point with that Mars energy is tiny. It's like, the head of a pin, and it doesn't take much to push it in either direction. And once it goes in a good direction or a negative direction, it really goes. And so right now I'm talking about in your personal life. How do you want to use your energy? It's just a question. How do you want to use it? You're going to have a lot of energy around this new moon. How do you want to use it? And what's important to you right now? What do you want to prioritize? And as you make that decision, you might also be thinking, and who can I work with or call or text? Can someone help me with this? Is somebody else on board with me around whatever it is that's going on? For some people it's going to be work. Some people it's going to be home matters, family matters. Can we do this together? And can we manage temperaments and use this energy productively? That's sort of the bigger question. And beyond that, there's still this, all with the air energy, I would say it's a good opportunity to realize that our thoughts do not equal us. So if you think of it, if you believe, like I do, that a person has a soul or a spirit, that's sort of your essence. If you believe that, then I believe, and so I'm just trying to explain kind of how you can look at this if you choose to, but your spirit is in no way connected to your brain and your thoughts. Your brain and your thoughts are constructs of the physical world. Your spirit is not. It's in your body. It's enlivening you and giving you spirit. Your body. It gives your body energy, and it gives you your personal qualities. But some of them. But then your spirit does not equal your body, and your body does not equal your spirit, and your thoughts do not equal your spirit or your soul, and your soul does not equal your thoughts. Your emotions do not equal your soul or your spirit. Your emotions pass through you like a wave. That's kind of an energy that passes through you, like anger, passion. It moves through and it leaves. It moves through again and it leaves. Meanwhile, your spirit's just this steady light. It's just calm and steady light, or energy, positive energy. I think everybody's spirit is a positive energy. And your thoughts are kind of like emotions, and they come and go. They for some people, they just loop around. Your thoughts can loop around, but the main thing I want you to understand is that they're moving parts. Your thoughts are moving parts. They're moving, they're changeable. Emotions are, movable, changeable. But your spirit's like this steady, shining light that's eternal. And I think this is a good opportunity to recognize that your thoughts might dominate this time, your head, and you might get sucked into the story in your head, especially your worldview. You might get kind of entrenched in that, especially if you're watching global events. But it's important to know that you can take a step back from that your true essence isn't your worldview. Your worldview is like this thing you've developed over time, but it's still in the material world. It's not really a part of that steady light that is really you. And sometimes it's just nice to know that, or to think about that, even if you don't know that. If you believe that, you may not necessarily believe that, but maybe just to kind of ponder it. And also, what is your worldview and why? Where did it come from? It doesn't mean anyone's worldview is right or wrong, but it's nice to just kind of take a step back and think, why do I think the way I do? And do I want to change something about the way I think? It's just they're interesting questions to ask oneself. So when we have all this heady energy, we can do these kinds of exercises where we ask ourselves philosophical questions and think more philosophically, but also with the recognition that we don't have to stay stuck in our heads, that there are other parts of us, like our soul or our spirit, and to try to learn how to navigate around within ourselves so that we know when and how to find distance from our thoughts and our emotions. Not that we want to cut ourselves off from emotions or cut ourselves off from thought, but we want to be able to look at it with a little teeny bit of distance sometimes. I think just to, if we want to find peace and a sense of calm. So with all this kind of a little bit volatile Mars energy that can be harnessed for great good, it's good to know how to manage your thoughts and emotions, and to have some little tricks up your sleeve on how to do that. So, in terms of managing emotions and thoughts, that's a much longer conversation. But usually, each one of us knows one or two or three things that we can do that put us in our happy place. So, for some people, it's exercise. A lot of people run or exercise because they say that's what keeps them kind of their mood steady, and it keeps their thoughts clear. For other people, like creative people, it might be doing whatever it is they do creatively. That kind of puts them in a zone. What do you do? Everybody's got something. And so this might be a good time to make sure you're doing whatever it is that puts you in the zone, because it gives you better perspective during this time, and you can harness all that energy for something good and accomplish quite a bit too. All right. Take care, guys.